In this video, I'm going to give you the best way to respond to good news, and we'll take a look at 3 ways on how not to respond. Hey, Now, I don't know who you are, where you live, or what you do, but one thing I do know about you is you truly value your close relationships. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to strengthen those relationships and how you might be inadvertently breaking them down without even realizing it. My goal is simple: to help people like yourself to become elite decision makers through mental skills training. I've had the tremendous privilege over the past 10 years to work with some of the most elite performers in the world. And my goal for this channel is to share with you some of the principles and strategies that these elite performers use. Okay, let's get into it. To kick things off, let's do an activity that's going to require everyone's participation. Go into the comment section and write down something positive that has happened to you within the last 24 hours. Now, we're going to come back to this and use it later on, but please head down right now, write it in there. Thank you to those of you who participated, and for those who didn't, what you put into the comment section isn't even the activity. We're going to come back to it later. Deep relationships are the lifeblood of good teams, successful companies, and thriving families. It takes years to build strong relationships and sometimes seconds to destroy them. I want you to think about someone who's really good at building strong relationships. Think about that person for a little bit. What makes them so good? For some, it could be their positive attitude. Others are great listeners. Some people are so good at putting other people first. There are many ways you can build strong relationships, but in this video, we're gonna look at one way you can do it. Okay, here's the setting. Someone you really care about comes up to you and shares with you great news. How you respond to that news will either help or hurt your relationship. We're gonna take a look at a communication model from psychologist Shelley Gable, who teaches us that there are 4 ways you can respond to good news, 3 of which are not ideal, and 1 definitely builds relationships. Here's the first way on how not to respond. Imagine someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I have good news to share. My family and I are going on vacation to Hawaii." You respond in the following manner. You grab your phone, you're on your phone, and you look at them and you say, "That's nice." That, my friends, is called passive constructive responding, or in other words, completely ignoring them. You're showing them that you can care less and it really doesn't matter what their good news is because you're so swallowed up in either your phone, your own worries, your own concerns, you really can care less on what they have to say to you. For the next example, let's say someone comes up to you and says, "I'm so excited, I just lost 10 pounds. And your response is, "Oh, that's great, but I just lost 15 pounds. I'm so proud of myself. I feel so good." This kind of response is called passive destructive, or in other words, you're trying to be a one-upper. You're taking their good news and you're not making it about them. You're making it about you, showing how your good news is better than their good news. The third way to respond that doesn't help relationships looks like this. Let's say someone comes up to you and says, "I just got into Harvard to study economics." You could respond this way by saying, "Ugh, you want to go to school? You want to throw money away to get an education just to get some letters behind your name? You want to move away from your family to study a subject that might not be secure, that to study something that isn't ideal?" You see what I'm doing there? You are actively destroying their good news, or in other words, you are joy thieving. You become a joy thief. You have taken their good news and you have made it bad news. You have, in other words, rained on their parade. This is the worst of the 3, where you actively destroy it. The 4th and final way you can respond to someone's good news looks like this. Let's say they come up to you and say that they ate at a great restaurant last night. You can respond like this by asking them, "That sounds delicious. Where did you guys go? What did you eat? What kind of food is it? I would love to go there. We should go there sometime. Who else went with you?" What you're doing is you're actively, constructively responding. Or in other words, you're joy multiplying. You're asking questions to get them to relive that experience, to show them that you care about that night. You care about what it was for them and how it made them feel by asking them these questions. When it comes to active constructive responding or joy multiplying, 3 things you need to keep in mind. Number 1 is it's about the person and not the topic. What if you don't like hunting? What if you don't care about losing weight? What if you don't care about Pokemon cards? That's not the case. You care about the person. And if it matters to them, in this moment, it matters to you because that person matters to you. Focus on the person and not the topic. The next thing is, what if it's dangerous? What if you disagree with their good news? What if they say, I drank too much last night and I was able to make it home? You're not gonna ask, oh, what kind of car did you drive? No, you're going to talk about it immediately and say, that was a dumb idea, don't ever do that again. You're not gonna joy multiply dumb decisions. And then the last thing is, what if you wanna follow up? What if someone comes up to you and says, it's your child, you're a parent and it's your child, and they say, oh, I got a C on the test, or I got a B on the test. Now, you know that they could have done better. They could have gotten an A. What you wanna do is you wanna joy multiply it, actively, constructively respond to that, and then have a follow-up conversation. Go back and say, hey, I was thinking about what we talked about. What could you have done better? How could you have gotten an A? How could you prepared better? So you wanna have a second conversation after the first one. So there you have it, 4 ways to respond to good news. You could ignore it, one-up it, joy thief it, or the best of them all, joy multiply it. So now comes the fun part. Remember when I had you write down your comments of the best thing that happened to you in the past 24 hours? Now's your chance to practice this newly acquired skill you just learned of joy multiplying. Head down to the comment section and practice multiplying some joy. You never know, you might meet a new friend. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Continue to like, subscribe, and share. Once again, we're trying to build this episode, and be sure to hit that bell so that you know when the next video comes out. Thanks for joining me, guys. We'll do it again next week.